Okay, today is December the 3rd, 2018. Right now at 9:30 a.m., we have a temperature of 55 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 45%, and the dew point is 35 degrees. Now, we had some rain back on the 28th and 29th of November. We had 1 5/8 in one foothills location, and then we had 2 1/8 inches in another location in the foothills. So that's good news. And we're expecting more rain on Wednesday and Thursday, and that will come from this weather system right here. This is a gale force. Actually, this is not a gale force system. This is a dual low pressure, about 1,000 millibar, and this is heading right towards Southern California. Now, the last couple of days we've had very heavy aerosol chemtrail spraying, and that is because of this jet stream flow into California. Let's go ahead and look at the jet stream map. This is fairly consistent with the last few days. We can see that we've got that low pressure system right here, and there's a disruption in near the vortex, and that's because there is a satellite transmitter, disrupting the flow around that system. Let's go back and take another look. We can see the outline here. We can see that manipulation occurring. There's actually a sort of an angle. We've got two straight edges that are starting to form near this vortex, and that is preventing all this moisture from wrapping back around into that vortex. We can see that right here, that big dark spot opening up, and that is preventing the further strengthening of this system. So it's being weakened as it moves in to deliver some rain. Now, there is no low pressure, or rather there's no high pressure showing up on the surface analysis map. Let's look at that right now. Typically we see high pressure installed between these gigantic low pressure systems as they swing down out of the North Pacific, but we see no high pressure installed in this area. This is California right down here, and we see the high up here, and so that will basically redirect and steer this system down towards California. Now, the last couple of days we should have already had rain because of let's go ahead and back it. We've had this jet stream flow right into California the last couple of days, and we've had all this moisture moving in. Let's take a look here at the southwest map. We can see these pockets of moisture moving through. This is what's been happening the last few days because of the jet stream pattern, and yet we've had zero rain. And that's because of the aerosol chemtrails being sprayed. That has capped the atmosphere and prevented the precipitation process by preventing the lift. We have to have two components for precipitation. We have to have the lift in the atmosphere, and we have to have the moisture. So we've got the moisture moving in here right on the jet stream. We can take a look again. We've got the jet stream moving in and all that moisture moving in with it. And but there's been no rain here in Southern California. Now today we notice that the skies are clear outside, and that's because right here we have a temporary, we've got a transmitter, satellite transmitter, opening up this area. Let's look at that up a little closer right here. We can see that right there we have a transmitter opening up the water vapor flow, which is right here on the jet stream. And so we have a brief period of time right now where the skies are actually clear, but that will pass unless this is installed into place. But we can see that the flow pattern continues out to the east through here. We can see all this moisture moving out to the east into Texas. So we can see that happening right there. Now, if we look at the Doppler map, let's go ahead and load this. We'll come back to it here in a second. Meantime, we'll take a look here. We see all this moisture moving through, but yet there's no precipitation. So what does that mean? That means the jets are up spraying. Everybody in California is probably getting sprayed because we've got a lot of moisture moving right through California, but yet there's no precipitation showing up on the Doppler map. We can see that right here. Let's go ahead and zoom in, and we can see that there's zero precipitation anywhere in the entire Southwest, all the way through Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, despite the flow pattern here. So we've got all this moisture moving right through, and yet there's no precipitation. So that means that the jets are up spraying. And we saw the spraying last night into the evening. Long after the sun went down, we could see the jets leaving these long streaks in the skies, and that was to prevent the rain until tomorrow, or actually Wednesday is the forecast, the scheduled rain. The rain is scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday. All right, so let's go back to the big map. We can see that right behind this system, there is a hurricane force system right here. This is a storm. Going back to the surface analysis map, that's indicated right here. This is a hurricane force storm, 960 millibar. You see a large purple occluded front. That's the satellite transmitter working on the center of that vortex, the center of this low right here. So going back to the big map, we can see that this manipulation occurring right here is actually re-steering that storm to the north, or rather to the northeast. Looking at the map once again, there is a arrow pointing to the northeast, and so we see what's happening here. This satellite transmitter manipulation is generating a force, a vector force, which is going to push this thing away in a different direction. So we've got this storm moving in. This is not a storm. This is just a low pressure system. This is the storm here. I've listened to the people on TV talking about the last storm that came in on the 28th and 29th. That was not a storm either. That was just a low pressure weather system, a very large system. But a storm is a low pressure system that has to meet certain pressure criteria in terms of millibar. So gale force systems are weaker than storms, and I'll pull up a chart on that next time, which defines which is which in terms of pressure. Okay, so we can see the angles right here on this low pressure, and then we have what looks to be firming up as a couple of straight edges right here. And we've got a straight edge, basically a right angle forming right there on the vortex. And the result of this manipulation is that all this moisture never wraps back around into that low pressure center. They isolate the low pressure center, and this is how these weather systems are weakened. And also notice the blockade that's being built in between this developing hurricane force system and this low right here. These two weather systems, there's a blockade being built in, and that will prevent this jet stream flow from merging with that vortex there. Going back to the jet stream, we can see that right over here, we've got a blockade being built right between these two, and that's not yet shown up, but we do see a dip here. So we've got a disruption right about here, and of course the manipulation occurring on that vortex is showing up right there. So we can see the moisture here is not wrapping back into that vortex right here. It's sort of dead ending into this high pressure zone, that's all been installed. So currently the skies over Southern California, right over Los Angeles, the LA and Orange County areas right here is temporarily clear as this small area of high pressure is installed. So we get a brief period of clear skies before the chemtrails will resume as this jet stream pattern continues. So we've got moisture flow into the area. We can see that all happening right here, and the skies are temporarily clear. That will probably change, and see that here in the southwest infrared map. All right, let's take a quick look at the swell report. You can see that offshore that low pressure system is developing 23-foot seas right here, 21, 15, and 12 right here. All these, this swell pattern will move in and generate high surf along the west-facing beaches here in the next couple of days. Now, that last system that brought us rain back on the 28th and the 29th, that was generating 30-foot swells. So we had some pretty high surf as that system moved in, and the people in Central California and in Southern California will also see some high surf from this weather system. So there it is. We have the Doppler map showing 0 precipitation anywhere in California right now. Anywhere in the southwest, there's nothing. Okay, so we'll leave it right here. And we're expecting rain. And we have it right there. They're installing that high pressure. That'll give us a break from the aerosols for a few hours. But I figure by later this afternoon, we'll see this pattern continue, of course, and then we'll see those aerosols return. Okay, that's it.